Today's show is sponsored by the Northern Kentucky Fly Fishers. Our club promotes the sport of fly fishing by holding seminars and educational events, participating in conservation projects, and working closely with other organizations. And we really love to go fishing. If you'd like more information about fly fishing or would like to attend one of our free monthly meetings, visit this website or call our phone number.
Hi, I'm Joe Melching here for the Northern Kentucky Fly Fishers, and you're watching Fishing on the Fly. I got a really great show for you today, and I know you'll enjoy it. It's full of great fishing action with lots of big, hot fish. I'll be fishing for steelhead in northeast Ohio on the Grand River, which is a tributary of Lake Erie. Lake Erie is one of the hottest areas in the country for steelhead fishing and is known as Steelhead Alley. This is because Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York stock between 2 and 3 million 6 to 8 inch juvenile fish each year. Now, steelhead is a rainbow trout that spends its first years of life in the river. As summer approaches, the waters warm up, they migrate to the cooler waters of the nearby lake. Once they reach the lake, they spend the next 2 to 3 years gorging themselves on bait fish. During this time, they can reach 5 to 10 pounds in weight and over 20 inches in length. After several years, they reach sexual maturity and return to the rivers to spawn. Using their sense of smell, they actually return to the original site of their birth or where they were released. But unlike the classic story of the salmon, which dies after spawning, steelhead live and return to the lake, where they eat more, grow some more, and return to spawn again the following year. So a 4 or 5 year old fish can easily weigh over 10 pounds. Now that is a lot of trout on a fly rod. In just a minute, we're going to be meeting Don Matthews, our guide for the day. Don has been guiding for 8 years on these rivers and knows them like the back of his hand. And he put us on a lot of big fish in less than desirable conditions, as you'll see. So let's get started and meet Don. Morning, Don.
Hey, good morning, Joe. How are you this morning?
Good, how are you?
Real good.
Hey, why don't you fill everybody in on what we're going to be doing here this morning?
Okay, we're going to be catching a bunch of fish.
Outstanding.
Yeah, we're at the Grand River here in northeastern Ohio. We're going to do a float trip today, 8 miles to the takeout. We're going to be using the boat to access spots. We're not going to fish out of the boat. We're just going to use it to get down the river, save us a bunch of walking. We're going to fly fish, steelhead trout. We're going to high stick nymph them. We've got quite a few fish in the river right now, but we do have less than ideal river conditions. We had a lot of rain last night, kind of turned the river off color, made the visibility poor. I don't think that's going to hamper our success a lot. We're going to use some bright colored flies, and I think we'll get some takers today.
Good. That sounds great. Let's go fishing.
Hey, let's go fishing.
All right.
We're out here rowing the Grand River this morning. We're floating below Harpersville Dam, steelhead fishing trip. A little bit of rain, overcast skies, middle of April. We're going to have about an 8 mile float today. River's a little off color, as you can probably notice. So we've got some high water conditions, but we're bound and determined to catch some steelhead today, and we're going to do it. This time of year, the steelhead are trying to spawn. Even though in our streams here in Ohio and Pennsylvania, we have no natural reproduction. The problem is these streams warm up in the summer. The water temperature gets too high for the fry to survive the summer months. So we have virtually every fish we catch is going to be a stock fish that is released by the state. What we've got is all this gravel sits up on the cliffs, and that determines a lot of where you're going to fish and where you're going to look to fish. Every time we get a rain or a storm, part of the banks fall in and the gravel gets deposited in the river. And the river current carries it downstream. And since these spawning fish are looking for gravel to spawn on, I can usually pretty much predict that half a mile below one of these big high pillow cliffs, there's going to be a gravel bed, and that's where the fish are going to be. A month ago, these fish would have been up on that shale in the deeper holes just waiting to spawn. So anytime you find one of these high pillow cliffs, you can bet that there's going to be good fishing near there.
Okay, I want to show you what we're fishing here today. Got a 10-foot 6-weight rod, 6-weight line, a large arbor reel, which really helps with a nice drag. Got the good line pickup, so when you're fighting the bigger fish, it really helps out quite a bit. I want to show you the leader we got here. The leader's about 8.5 feet long, and up at the top here, we've got basically what amounts to a bobber, or as we call them, strike indicators. And this is what we're using to watch our line. Makes it a lot easier than fishing with just the fly line out. And basically all it is a white styrofoam, sometimes cork, sometimes yarn. This one happens to be a white styrofoam. It's easy to see on this dark, muddy water. And we got about, another 4 feet down to a couple of split shot here, or sinkers, as most people call them. For some reason in fly fishing, we have different names for them. Down to, about 18 inches to an egg pattern. And orange seems to be the hot color right now. And all dropped off of that, what they call a dropper, is that small crystal minnow that you see here. There's a lot of emerald shiners in this water. And with this white goat tail and that olive and kind of dark back on it, it imitates that emerald shiner real well. And those emerald shiner get in these spawning beds and will eat the eggs. Steelhead know that. They'll hit these things on sight, so it makes them a great fly to use. And what we're doing, simple cast upstream, slight mend. You want the fly coming down first, then your strike indicator. So the fish doesn't see your strike indicator, and it basically coming down to them just in that order. And you're just basically watching your strike indicator to see and make sure, if you have a hit. Now the strikes are real subtle, so you're going to want to watch and pay close attention. If you see your strike indicator, stop, move, bob up and down slightly, set the hook. I set the hook 100 times, 10 of them will be fish. Right now what I want to show you is the technique we're using, and this is what Don showed me, so I don't want to take credit for it. And all I'm going to do is make a simple, short roll cast upstream, and we're high sticking. And what I'm doing is keeping all the fly line off the water, and I'm keeping it in contact with my strike indicator. So all I'm doing is making a short, simple cast upstream like that, high sticking. Watch my strike indicator, set the hook if I see any kind of movement. Fish on! I'm coming.
You cast up, do this, just like that, huh?
Let's do it.
That orange big fly right in the mouth.
Head up.
Nice job. Oh, and a fly, it come out. The fish went in the net, opened his mouth just as the fly come out.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is why you have a guide.
Big silver chrome hen. Again, look at
Big
color
female.
rate. Big female hen.
Now you can see the difference in the colors.
Look at the eggs spewing out. Come on over. Let me get this.
You see how the orange flies are doing so good? We don't want to take them all.
Nope.
But now you see why those orange flies are so effective.
And they're eating these eggs.
Eating the eggs.
Not for food. These fish don't need to eat. They've got enough protein in them from the lake still that they're fine. But she's trying to kill off the eggs of the other fish. She wants her genetic lineage to pass on, and so she's trying to destroy the eggs from the other fish. So you can see why these are so effective.
Now we didn't draw those eggs out. That happens when you catch a female, right?
Right.
They'll just start.
Not always. Now, when you catch a female that's actively on the spawn,
Right.
she spewed these eggs out.
Right.
Hey, we got lunch now, guys.
There you go.
Caviar, huh? And when we use a spinning rod, this is the most effective bait you can use on the spinning rod. We'll use these eggs, tie them in little mesh pieces of cheesecloth, and make egg sacks out of them. Oh, very effective bait.
Every time I watch this clip, it puts a smile on my face. And I assure you, this fish and I did not rehearse this scene. You saw it live, unedited, just as it happens. And it is just that simple. You don't need to make 50-foot casts, just a short 10 or 15-foot roll cast that anyone can learn to do in about 5 minutes. and you'll be catching these monster trout on a fly rod. Now let's get back to the show, because I'm hooked up again.
Take a net when you get a chance.
Right off the turnpike there.
God, I love this.
Fun, ain't it?
It never gets old.
It doesn't either. Still get excited on these fish.
We can, isn't it?
No, most trout fishermen, this is a trophy.
Yep. It's a dink here.
Yeah. Good job. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Hey, let's do that again.
Agreed.
He's fighting, he's wearing out. That's exactly what we want.
Okay.
He's going upstream. We don't have to chase him. Just kind of right now stand here and enjoy. He's, you know, if the rod starts to come up, you know, he starts to straighten out. We put a little tension, reel back on him a little.
I don't have a lot of tension on it, I don't think.
We've got the correct amount right there.
Okay.
It's about how much tension I want. That amount of bow in the rod.
Okay.
And you know, we want to always keep our rod up in the air. Keep slack line on the current to pull the hooks out.
Okay.
So we want to try and keep a direct line right down through the current to the fish, where we don't have line laying on the water at any time. We're doing great.
He's just sitting there.
Yeah, he's sitting there. He's fighting though.
Yeah.
If we get in a situation where he nudges up behind a rock or something, and then it feels like he got a snag, he just quits fighting and he sits still, then we'll start working our rod side to side to try and pull his head out of there. But for right now, you're doing great. You're just wearing him out.
He's trying to keep his head, I guess, a little bit tilted in the water.
Right,
To make him keep
right.
moving.
His head, when he's facing upstream, he's very streamlined. The current flows right over him. And when you turn his head sideways, the water hits him in the cheek, and now he's got to fight. Yeah. And you're doing good. Chances are he's probably going to start to want it. Once he starts to tire out, they start to try and head downstream. And when that happens, we lose a lot of fish. That's when we really got to start to chase him. So he's starting to come down. We'll start to walk down. We always want to try and stay parallel to him.
You can see how people get addicted to this easily.
I spent the whole month of July. I traveled the whole country, east to west, fishing for trout. And, you know, I enjoyed it. I loved the scenery and everything. But you know what? There's one jumping on us. I just didn't find fish to this caliber that could fight like this and would, you know, get me excited like these fish do.
You can see why people go crazy over them.
Oh yeah. I think we're down now to somewhere near 6 inches of visibility in the stream right now, so this is less than ideal steelheading conditions.
There he goes.
They don't give up easy, do they?
No, they don't.
Can't step in there.
distance. Oh, they come out?
Yep.
This is a buck. It's got the kype on the bottom jaw. You can see the difference in coloration. He's been here a while. He's a warrior. He's been out here spawning and fighting.
Well, that last fish was a beauty. Took us a couple 100 yards down the river. My arm's still vibrating. My finger's still a little numb. It was an amazing experience. Don said it was about a 9-pound big male. Oh, it was epic. I fell once going down the river. We chased him around trees. You know, it was just, you got to try this. You can see why people get addicted to steelheading. It's just an amazing sport. Wow, what a battle. And you only saw part of it. I want to show you how far this fish ran. Let's roll the film back a bit. Back, 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 right about there, stop. Okay, look upriver, all the way until it ends, up in the top right corner of the picture. The river actually makes a turn to the right there. Just around that bend is where I originally hooked that fish. You know, I fished all over the country and for all types of fish, but I've never experienced anything quite like that. The good news is it's not over. There's more fish to catch, so let's get back to the show because I'm hooked up again.
Joe, you better get down here because we got 2 on.
Streamer.
Yep.
No, that's me. I tell you, I love this net. And what's so great about it is I can leave the fish, it's deep, I can leave this fish right here in the water. He's not going to get hurt. We're not lifting him out. He's not rolling around the bank. And I can work on him while he's still wet and in the net. For taking pictures, I can leave the fish. I'll just put the net along the bank right like this. Fish swims around there. He's not being harmed. We get the camera ready. We get everything. Because, you know, most people, you know, catch and release, they do like to take pictures of their fish, which is fine. We won't hurt them if we do it right. But what I don't like to see people do is bring the old greens, green nylon nets. They'll cut into the fish and take his slime off and hurt him.
You knock the scales off too, don't you?
Right, knock the scales off. We're gonna let him go. Go on back out there. Give him a second. There you go. But really, this is a good investment. This net really, really has been for me. And the hooks don't tangle in it very. It don't have a lot of knots in it. It's a knotless net. The hooks don't tangle in it. Especially we're using the 2-fly rigs, you know. And it's big and deep. We can keep the fish in the water. Must have. Hey, it was a good day. I enjoyed having you guys out here. Immensely. We've got a ride now. Let's go for a boat ride. We're going to finish out. We got like 6 miles to the takeout ramp. Hopefully we'll see some bald eagles, maybe a few deer down along the way. And
we had a heck of a day. We caught over a dozen fish and missed many more than that. So my arm's tired. I could use the rest.
Yeah, this is when everybody usually sleeps, this last ride out. You know, I'm rowing while everybody else is sleeping.
That may well happen.
All right. It was fun having you. I appreciate it.
Enjoyed it immensely. Thanks for watching today's show, and I hope you really enjoyed it. If you'd like more information on the Northern Kentucky fly fishers, call our phone number or visit our website. Our website has a lot of information on fly fishing. In addition to all our club activities, we post a link to our monthly newsletter. Plus, we have links to other fishing clubs, organizations, stores, and guides. or come to one of our monthly meetings. Our meetings are a great way to learn more about fly fishing. We meet the first Thursday of every month. Information on our meeting locations is posted on our website. So if you're new to fly fishing or a seasoned veteran, Northern Kentucky Fly Fishers is your local fly fishing connection. So let's wrap up today's show and look at some of the pictures of happy club members at on a recent steelhead trip. I'm Joe Melching for the Northern Kentucky Fly Fishers. Keep your fly in the water, and I hope to see you on the stream.
We're gonna feed you. You come up steelhead fishing with me. I don't go hungry. You know, you need a lot of energy to do this all day. When we're in the drift boat, we have the luxury of being able to haul all the stuff down the river, and we're gonna feed you well. We're gonna cook. We're having steaks on the grill today, and got cupcakes and some pasta salads, some chips. But if we're doing a walk and wade trip, usually pack a pack basket, and you know, we'll have sandwiches or what have you. And all of our guided trips, we provide lunch as part of the trip. And I fished with quite a few guides, and when I was out west this summer, I noticed some of the guides would have a little tablet and they'd be writing in it all day. At the end of the day, they hand you a bill for flies. And that was part of the thing I didn't want. I want an all-inclusive trip. When you come up here, there's no hidden costs. You know exactly what the trip's gonna cost you. And at the end of the day, that's how much you gotta pay. There's no, I'm not going to hand you a bill for flies, lunch, any of that. That's all included in your trip, and I think that's the way it should be. I don't want a guy worrying about casting in a tree because he's worried that those flies cost him $2.25 each. That's right. You know, I want him casting there. I'll go get the fly out of the tree if I need it back. You know, I want him to catch fish.
He's the fishing fools, fellas. You got to try this. It is addicting.